This is my brutally honest review of The Sims 4 StrangerVille. This is part of a series where I review every pack for The Sims 4, including all of the older ones. The Sims 4 StrangerVille comes with a rural desert town shrouded in secrecy, and you have to unravel the story of the town relating to some unique and mysterious events using your military training. The storyline is relatively linear, but we'll go over that in the gameplay section. Taking a look at the cast, so for the cast in StrangerVille, I believe it's Western. I'm awful at American geography, so maybe you guys can help me out on this one, but I believe it's like Western themed or Southern themed or something. Either way, I actually really like the cast in this pack. I love it when a pack sticks to a theme very well and makes the most out of it, and it's a very unique theme. It's definitely not a theme that everyone will enjoy as it's very niche, but I think it really suits the aesthetic of the pack well. Some of the pieces are hit or miss, but across the board, most of the outfit choices are really unique and have a charm to them. Unfortunately, kids don't have much. Male kids have just one top and female kids also have an additional dress. Toddlers have nothing as per. I think the female clothing is a bit better than the men's, and I would have liked to have seen more men's hairstyles, as I think this pack would have been perfect for adding some sexy military men's hair meshes, seeming it has a military theme. Am I admitting to having a military fetish? No, I am not. But what I am saying is it's a missed opportunity for some nice men's hairstyles. In general, I will also say it's one of the smaller packs for including casts. But across the board though, I was really pleased with the cast that comes with this pack, and I feel like you will enjoy it if you like that kind of theme. A lot of the items are made very well. So we're starting off with a 7 out of 10 for the cast. Taking a look at build mode, this pack comes with some nice architecture, including doors, windows, fences, and roof decorations. The default swatch for everything is green, but they have tons of other swatches for all building assets, including some wooden swatches and whites. The build and buy stuff is almost exclusively decorations. Most of the stuff you see is just random decor that suits a grungy, tatty Western theme. There are a lot of big stuff that, to be honest, look like they belong more in debug. If you're solely a builder, to be honest, this pack isn't a void from me, just because the building assets are really not that useful for the majority of people. If you want a more grungy look, then I personally feel like the Werewolves game pack is much better for that. You're very limited in terms of building with this pack, and I feel like the objects that do exist were just made to facilitate the gameplay of the pack rather than actually be useful for people who enjoy building. Don't get me wrong, it all fits the theme very well, and some of the stuff is nice. It's just simply not usable, and it's quite underwhelming for me personally, and probably one of the smallest game packs when it comes to build mode. I think for constructive criticism, it could have come with a lot more trailer trash decorations, or even the ability to live in a trailer with some kind of brand new build mode speciality. Unfortunately, the build mode for me gets a 3 out of 10. Taking a look at the world, I'll be honest now, the world isn't the most spectacular looking thing based on the map view. Excluding the science lab lot, it has 2 areas with a total of 11 playable lots, although bigger than some of the other game pack worlds. The world suffers from the same issue as every Sims 4 world, and that there's nothing to do. It's very barren. I mean, the whole point of the world is that it is barren wasteland as in the theme, but I mean, from a gameplay perspective, there really is nothing to do here. The main residential area has 5 lots, 3 of which are pre-made. The pre-made lots look horrific. It's honestly shocking how underfurnished they are. I know EA have to make sacrifices in order to ensure the lots run smoothly on low-spec laptops and PCs, but they really are awful. Just looking, you can see how empty most of the rooms are. I am really shocked someone from EA signed off on this, because it is not okay. It really is not. There are also a lot of issues with object drawing distances. I don't know if it's because there are just so many vegetation assets in the world or what, but objects in the world often pop in and out really sporadically, and it feels really unnatural. There was also some shadowing issues with the landscape at times too. In the main plaza area, there are so many lots, yet most of which are unusable. It's really difficult to know which lots and objects are actually interactable. Unfortunately, the world is not that intuitive to navigate. Even though the world itself is very beautiful and fits the theme perfectly, it's difficult to really enjoy it because there's simply nothing to do. It's also really confusing to know which lots are actually usable lots and which lots are just decorations. The actual zonable, ownable lots that you can go into are blended in way too much with the decorative lots, and it's really difficult to know what's where. Nothing's really interactable in the main square, and it just falls incredibly short. It looks kind of okay, and it's a big world considering it's a game pack, but it's nothing special. The world gets a 3 out of 10. So the most important thing is the gameplay. The aspiration for this pack is a tutorial, or at least the main quest line, as one might say, so it's basically necessary in order to complete the pack. You might find some weird possessed Sims walking around who are literally hilarious, by the way. This has something to do with the plot, as you might expect. The plot has to do with the town being infected by something and people turning into, not zombies, but basically possessed in a similar way to zombies. You first have to do some basic missions like talking to Sims and exploring the town. It also wanted me to buy something from the Strange shop, so I bought a coriander hat with Christmas lights and immediately wore it with delight. For the investigations, gameplay, certain objects are highlighted in red if you're supposed to interact with them. You first have to gather some information on StrangerVille by searching objects, visiting the library, or talking to Sims and planting listening devices on scientists. You have to do a lot of interactions with scientists and military personnel who are found at the library or bar respectively. I recommend befriending one of each, a scientist and military person, and inviting them with you every single time you visit a community lot, as a lot of quests ask you to speak with them to get certain items. The tasks involve a lot of going back and forth, talking to people and crafting things to fight what's causing the strange stuff going on in town. The only 3 lots you'll ever really need to visit are the library, the bar, and the science lab. None of the other lots are really needed. After some time, you're able to create a vaccine to help fight the infection that makes Sims possess and defeat the thing that's causing it. And after vaccinating some people, you can actually recruit them along in a party with you in order to defeat the thing, kind of like in an RPG style. Spoiler alert here, if you don't like spoilers, don't watch this. The chances are you've probably seen it already. It's not like a major spoiler anyway, it's just the boss basically. You get put into a fight with the monster. It looks like a big plant, and you have to defeat it by either throwing vaccines for it or spraying it with a special spray device, and you do this with the party that you've made up. There are some different tactics depending on your infection level and defeating the boss. My sim actually got killed during the fight with the end boss, so it is a new death type in the game, and all of the progress that I gained was lost because I didn't save right before the fight, so I literally had to start all over again. Don't get me wrong, I love that there's a new death, but I was disappointed. As a tip, as soon as you recruit Sims to help you, immediately save before going into the actual fight. Once you've completed the fight, you've basically done the main storyline, and all the possessed Sims in the neighborhood return to normal. All of the weird atmospheric effects are gone. It took me just over an hour to do all of this, and that was with my Sims needs made static, and this also includes the time that it took me to start again after my sim had died. After killing the monster, you can revive it and request it to make the town look weird again if you want Sims to start being possessed again, but you can also turn it back off again too. You can also befriend the monster and request fruit from it. After befriending enough as well, you can request gifts including energy, life extension, career success, and money. You can ask for one of these every single day. After completing the main storyline, you also get a Hero of StrangerVille trait, which lets you boast of your success to other Sims, and sometimes you'll receive fan mail. A very weird but small trait offered. I feel like there should have been something a little bit more substantial, but there we go. Now, apart from the main storyline, you can also join the military career, and if you want to, you can actually join the career alongside doing the main storyline in order to break up gameplay. I actually recommend this if you don't mind playing for a longer bit of time, and I personally feel like it would have spread the pack out a lot more. It's a rabbit hole career with some work from home assignments. If you'd rather work from home during the scheduled work hours, it involves doing different things like interrogating people or recruiting new military officers. The career also comes with some special interactions outside of the job, like marching or saluting people. The storyline is okay and the gameplay is okay. It's something fun to do, and I think it does have some replayability value, although I personally couldn't cope with replaying it maybe more than a couple of times a year at the most. My only real issue is that there isn't that much depth outside of the story, and the story feels a lot more like a big side quest rather than something of more substance. I personally wish there was more to it, for example, more monsters to fight or different kinds of quests to flesh out the story more. The gameplay was alright, it wasn't spectacular, it wasn't the worst either, but it was engaging at the least for the time that I spent with it, so so it's getting a 7 out of 10. Taking a look at performance, a lot of missions require you to talk to many different kinds of people you meet in community lots. Now, due to the nature of The Sims 4, this was extremely frustrating because many social interactions kept cancelling for no reason. Whilst talking to a sim, they randomly ran off before you could actually ask them for the information that you need. Celebrities turned up at random lots for no reason, and this caused social havoc. This pack is definitely not easy to interact with when completing quests. There was also a little bit of lag at some points as well. However, in general, the pack didn't feel totally broken, and I was able to do everything that I wanted to do. Based on that, the pack is getting an 8 out of 10 for performance. In terms of cross-pack play, this pack has absolutely no cross-pack play. It is the most isolated experience in The Sims 4. Having said that, not every single pack needs tons of cross-pack play. On this occasion, I'm not actually considering cross-pack features in the review, and that's because there really isn't anything that could have been integrated apart from the obvious, you know, like seasons, which already is. Based on that, I am not considering cross-pack features in this review. In terms of my overall conclusion and score of the pack, I am awarding StrangerVille a total of 6 out of 10. The pack is actually a nice little experience, and I think it is enjoyable. If you're getting bored of the more mundane vanilla side of gameplay, then this pack certainly helps to break things up a bit. However, when it comes to game packs and wanting to break up regular gameplay, I personally think a pack like Jungle Adventure is much better for giving a less vanilla side to the game, as it's a bit more in depth. Even the Star Wars pack, I'd say, is actually a lot stronger in terms of unique and challenging gameplay. StrangerVille is nice, and if you're a gameplay kind of person, then don't be afraid of this pack. I definitely wouldn't buy it for less than 50% off, as that's all I think it's worth, especially seeing that it only really took me less than an hour to complete. But I don't hate the pack. It most certainly lets you down by having a lackluster world and build mode. In other words, it's not really that exciting to play with once you complete the main storyline, but I don't regret buying the pack at all, and I did enjoy it. I just wish I had more to do. If you appreciated this review, you may also appreciate my other reviews in this playlist here. It gets updated very regularly. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.